Hello everyone and welcome to the EMC Podcast. Today we will be discussing the views of Democratic Republicans during the Jefferson era. The issues we will be touching on today is the National Bank, scandals which primarily focuses on the Federalists, and the alliances.
The two parties are the Democratic Republicans and the Federalists, who go head-to-head to determine the destiny of America in the National Bank.
The National Bank was proposed by Federalist Alexander Hamilton, who thought the only way to handle war debt was to stabilize their nation's currency. Hamilton wanted to set up the banks in every major city and to create new money that would be acceptable anywhere in the nation. This also provided the government to deposit their money if needed.
That sounds so cool. New changes are happening. Must be good to have everyone agree on this, isn't it?
Well, not exactly. There were some people who disagreed, like our Democratic friends Thomas Jefferson and James Madison.
What was the reason on the topic?
First off, Jefferson did not like banks, especially the large government-supported ones. He is famous for saying the banking industry as a whole was, quote, an infinity of successive felonious larcenies, end quote, meaning that the bank is continually stealing from others. Jefferson and Madison argued that a national bank would only aid northern businesses, but weaken agricultural interests in the South. This basically doomed Jefferson's ideal society. Jefferson favored state banks instead of a national one to support the failure in credit. He believed that the state shouldn't have too much power over the government.
Well, what happened after the whole debate?
Sadly, Jefferson lost the argument in Congress, but his last chance was to persuade President George Washington not to sign the bill before it was a law, so they wrote to him. Both Jefferson and Madison thought the National Bank was unconstitutional and that it violated the 10th Amendment of the Constitution, which stated that any powers the Constitution did not specifically give Congress remain with the people. Hamilton eventually found out and wrote a letter as well, also citing the 10th Amendment in the bank's defense, saying that the amendment implied the government's right to establish a national bank because it was for the common good.
Talk about drama there. But speaking of drama, I'm going to be talking about the scandals on our opposing political party, the Federalist. One of the first sex scandals ever in political history was that of Maria Reynolds and leader of the Federalist Party, Alexander Hamilton. This caused him to be temporarily stripped of his political power, as the citizens of America were not able to trust a man who has forsaken his wife and committed adultery. Not only was his image of a strong governing power ruined, but as well as his dignity.
How so?
Okay, well, let me tell you all about it. He was blackmailed by Maria Reynolds' husband, James Reynolds. Once James found out about his wife's dishonest acts, he wrote Hamilton a letter. In the letter, he claimed that, "But it is out of your power to do anything that will restore to me my happiness again, for if you should give me all you possess, would not do it." So he's just saying that he loves her so much and that he cannot live without her since she's the sunshine of his world. Yet he claims, "I have this proposal to make to you. Give me the sum of $1,000 and I will leave the town." So basically Hamilton pays James to keep his mouth shut.
Wow. Honestly, that's fake.
Oh, what was he thinking? As we currently speak of Hamilton, another important issue involving him were in the Alien and Sedition Acts, and Hamilton, being the conflicted person he was, had also problems with Thomas Jefferson himself. In 1798, the Alien and Sedition Acts were signed into laws by President John Adams in response to fears of pending war in France. It consisted of 4 laws and increased the residency requirement for American citizenship. The Federalist Party, led by Alexander Hamilton, aimed to create a stable and secure country, safe for business and wealthy men of property, whereas Thomas Jefferson, on the Democratic Republican Party, was bitterly against the Federalists and focused on presenting the poor farmers, craftsmen, and recent immigrants. In Thomas Jefferson's mind, the first thing for him to do as president was to establish a wise and frugal government which shall restrain men from hurting one another. Him, as well as Madison, believed that they were a threat to individual liberty, and the First Amendment by a tyrannical government whereas Hamilton and Adams viewed that these laws passed protected the United States from foreign invaders, which only meant that the president had all power to imprison and deport aliens suspected of activities posing a threat to the national government. He pressured Congress to repeal the Alien and Sedition Acts, which were still operating, and as the main author of independence, he saw these laws as his worst nightmare. To emphasize on his opposition towards these acts, Jefferson personally pardoned 10 victims who were convicted under these laws. They were designed to silence and weaken the Democratic-Republican Party. These acts were given a negative reaction and contributed to the Democratic-Republican Party victory in the 1800 election.
Well, that concludes the end of our EMC podcast. Tune in next time as we discuss other important events. Thanks for listening, folks.